SuperSystem. Super Miniature Battles by Scott Pyle and David Lewis. What? This is a beast of a book. 164 pages of Cape fun. Now, you all know, those of you that have been around long enough, I'm not real big into the corporate IPs. So we're going to play some Cape stuff miniature wargaming, but we won't be doing the Marvels. Other channels have that stuff covered. We're not going to be doing any Ds and Cs. We're not even going to be doing any images. One of my online bros is a cat named John Delaraz. He's got a ton of titles. One of the most prolific independent comic book writers. He publishes, well, he's an independent publisher, but you can find some of his titles on an outfit called Archaven.com. And Archaven.com is kind of like Webtoons. Now, if you're not familiar with it, every week you get a new page of a comic book. I tend to wait a month or so and then binge read and get caught up. It's all free. Link in the description, Archaven.com. Specifically want to recommend those titles that are by John Delaraz. He has a Supergirl called Flying Sparks. Very good. My favorite is called My Sister Suprema. It's about an 8-year-old kid that decides to give himself superpowers and accidentally gives them to his 15-year-old sister, who is more interested in boys than in saving the world. Hijinks ensue. Now, that one is written by a cat named Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon is the guy that invented the character Bane, who you may know from such titles as which is the Batman, but if you've seen the movies. So I know corporate IP. I'm just not huge. However, those titles are, they're good. They're fun. I really enjoy them. Archaven also has some fun stuff. Like, they have a comic that is, I kid you not, G.K. Chesterton's Right Ho Jeeves in comic book form. And the art is kind of like, it's kind of like the old Don Martin from the Mad Magazine, except without all of the wacky onomatopoeias, right? No splorches. At least none that I can think of. Anyway, good stuff. Archaven.com. One of the titles in there, one of the Cape titles, is called Alt Hero. See, it's an alternate for the superheroes. These are the 6 figures that you're going to see on the tabletop today. You've got 3 members of the Global Justice Initiative and 3 members, what can I tell you? They're Americans, right? So you got basically UN versus the Americans. And for those of you that remember our science fiction campaign, The Adventures of Black Raven, we played a number of games of Void Pirates. The goal system that we're using today, the SuperSystem, is that exact same system reskinned for superheroes. And superheroes is an interesting, here's that book again. This is very thick because there's a lot of powers and a lot of things that you got to deal with. So by way of introduction, let me just kind of explain to you who our heroes are, what their names are, and what their abilities are. Those of you that are familiar with Archaven understand that the author is very cagey about exactly what the capabilities of these heroes are. So in some cases, I've kind of had to guess, right? It's pretty obvious that Captain Europa, the front man, the face, if you will, of the Global Justice Initiative, is a Superman equivalent. He just, instead of fighting for truth, justice, and the American way, he fights for the United Nation. For whether that's good or bad, I'll leave that to you. And essentially, he's got flight, and he's super strong, and he's largely invulnerable. He is assisted by, on his left, as we look at it, that's Shade. He's kind of like Batman. And here's a picture. I'll throw up some shots of what they look like in the comic book. Bear in mind, not a huge selection of superheroes in 15 millimeters. You've got SuperSystem, which are the Super Figs, which you can get from Blue Moon Manufacturing, who is associated with Old Glory. And you've got Rebel Miniatures, which has a pulp line that has a couple of packs of superheroes as well. I've cobbled together the best I can do. It's not great, but it'll work. The guy over here, this is Shade. He's your Dark Avenger type, right? So he's got Super Sense, he's got Regeneration, because he can't be stopped. Those of you that have played SuperSystem, the templates that I used are, he is the Brick, he is the Stupendous Man, Captain Europa. Shade here I used, he just won't quit. And then Dynamique over here on your far right is the Machine Gun Puncher. Near as I can figure from the comic book, she's got super speed. So I gave her instant stand, hyper attack, and extra attacks. So for 1 additional AP, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Suffice it to say, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, I guess that's kind of a way to look at it. On the left-hand side of your screen, we got 3 heroes. Over here on the right side of this superhero, that's Soulforge. He's not great. Or is it Soulsight? I think it's Soulsight. He is a mind-based superhero, and I gave him mind attack. It's a ranged attack, and he's got second sight. So he can use that mind power without having line of sight. In the center is Charles Martel. He is the Hammer, and if I had a better figure, he'd be holding a hammer. He has, he's a strong, tough dude, and he's got a weapon which does +3 to his strength. And then over here on the far right is a gal from Alabama. She is called Rebel, and again, I did the best I could. She's a redhead, and she's got kind of that daughter of Dixie theme going for her. She instant stand, sense weakness. She can, and then she is a lucky hero. I think she's kind of the female equivalent of Captain Europa, but it's not entirely clear just yet. So what I did is I gave her the Lucky Striker Brawler package. Instant stand, sense weakness. She's got 3 wild dice that she can use per round, and then she's got an edge, which we'll get to that as we go. With all that said, we're just going to do a simple straight-up fight. Man, this is a lot of way of introduction, and as usual, as a first-time game of this, we will probably get some stuff wrong. We'll fix it. Be back next week with another scenario. Throw some more figures into the mix. Throw some more characters in. Bear with me. We're getting better all the time. We are on the edge of town, small town USA. Just off the board to the north is a pavement. That's going to represent our northern edge of the boundary. You can see we've got a little bit of a verge of the road there, a dirt, gravel, and then just kind of a grass lot for the diner. 7-Eleven is right there. Likewise, we got a firm road right here on the western side with a little dirt track coming into the compound here. A couple of things to be aware of. Because it is trying to mimic comic books, and comic books don't typically make a big deal about fighting your way through difficult terrain, there's no terrain effects on any of this stuff. It's all just basically either cover or movement blocking terrain. The chain link fence over here is 1.5 inches high when you are moving. So we should talk a little bit about how the game works. It's an AP-based system. The higher your mind skill, the more action points you have. It costs 1 action point to move 1 inch. If you charge, you can get 2 inches, but you have to end in melee. If you want to do a melee attack, it costs 3 action points, unless you just moved in at the end of your turn. When you charge, you're done. After the movement, you're done. So what we're going to do today, likewise, the Jersey barriers are going to cost an additional 2 AP to cross. If I may, this feller here has flight, kind of dumb. There's 3 ways to get into this enclosure without going over the fence. This corner, and then the gate is permanently stuck open. So if he wants to walk, although he can fly, so I don't know why he would, but just for the sake, just humor me here, okay, for the sake of illustrative purposes. Let's suppose he wants to get across that fence. Normally, he would have to spend, it's 3 inches to get across, so it would be 3 AP, but because he has to scramble over the fence, that's going to cost him 6. Everybody has basically about, 10 is high. Everybody has about 7 to 10 AP to kind of give you an idea what they can do. So with that, he still has 1 AP left, and he can move that 1 AP, and then he could do a distance attack. There are cover effects, but unfortunately, the only guy that we've got today that has a missile attack is Soulsight here, and his is a mind attack, which ignores cover anyway, so it's mostly just, it's a miniature war game. You need some terrain. It's a straight-up fight. We're just going to duke it out, see how things go. The Global Justice Initiative is going to come on the board. I'm going to roll a D8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's their corner. The other guys will come on opposite. So on a result of 7, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're going to come in the south down here. I guess, you know what we'll do? We'll have the alt heroes were in the diner. They're going to start on the north side of the diner. These guys are coming in from the south, and they're coming to beat up. But unfortunately, whoever was manning the grill here in the back of the diner saw the Global Justice Initiative coming and said, hey, there's black helicopters and UN officials coming. You guys might want to do something. So we're going to set up our alt heroes over here on the north side of the building, and we're going to set up our Global Justice Initiative right down here, and then we're going to start the game. On any given turn, you make an opposed sense roll. But you have to do that for the leader. Now, Captain Europa is going to be the leader over here on the Global Justice Initiative, and Soulsight is going to be the leader over on the side of the Alt Heroes. The abilities are going to be 3 for these guys, and we're going to roll 3 yellow dice. And for Soul Sight, he's got 4 with 1 reroll. So we roll our dice, and the boys in white get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, 6 count as 2. And the Global Justice Initiative gets a roll of 4. So initiative goes to the alt heroes. They're going to get to nominate 1 figure to go, and then the Global Justice Initiative will do 1, and then 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 until you are done. The Soul Sight does get to do a reroll, but because he already won, he doesn't need to use that. Rerolls are essentially your superpowers, and you're going to see a lot of those today. Let me move Rebel first. Now, she has a total of 10 AP. Remember, she's a bit of a speedster. The other thing I need to do is roll, and I'm going to grab out a red, a white, and a blue. No, you know what? She's got the stars and bars going, so I'm going to do an orange and a white and a blue, similar to her costume. Every turn, she gets to roll 3 wild dice. So whatever dice she rolls, she can replace with these. That's because she's super lucky. So she's got a 2, 5, and a 6. The 2 obviously isn't going to do her much good. But this first turn doesn't really matter a whole lot because she's going to be mostly moving. This first turn, we're moving around. The 2 fighters are going to move up into the parking area, maybe somewhere around here. Soul Sight, he's not a particularly strong guy, but that mind power is amazing. So he's going to take cover behind the dumpster. Our 3 heroes for the Global Justice Initiative have basically come up to the hill. We've got a total AP of 10 for Shade, 9 for Dynamique, and 7 for Captain Europa. Rolling initiative for turn number 2. The back and forth might make a little more sense as we go forward. We've got a total of 3 successes for the Global Justice Initiative, and on the initial roll, we've only got 2 for the alt hero. We will re-roll one of those, and we get a total of 3. So with a tie, what happens is the super power breaks the tie. In other words, because we had the 1 re-roll on these dice, he's going to get to go first. The alt heroes, we're going to bring Hammer up a total of 7 inches, and we're just basically, we'll bring him right up to here, and then we're going to bring Shade says, great, I'm ready for some mano a mano. Now, he's got a total of 10 AP. If he charges, he can expend, what do we got here? But he does have, let's see, regeneration. He's got the weapon 4D. Yeah, right, so if we charge, he can move 2 inches for every AP. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to the Jersey barriers. Then it's 6 to get over it, and then 7, and he's now in melee with Mr. Hammer. So we get to do some actual, punchy. And because he's doing the attack, we are going to roll Shade's strike, which is 4 dice. We'll see how many successes he gets. He gets a total of 3 successes. Remember that this 6 is worth 2. Then we roll Hammer's dodge skill. He's got a dodge of 5, and he does not have any super dodge. So to see if he avoids the attack, we roll, and he gets a total of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he has successfully dodged that attack. It's just that easy. But it is now Rebel's turn. And Rebel is going to cycle around, and she's going to move. Well, she's got a total of 9. Oh, I forgot to roll her fortune dice. So this time around, she's got a 4, 5, and 6. She can swap out for any dice she rolls. She's going to move, what's her AP? She's got 10 AP. Remember, she's a super striker. So we'll use 5 to get to here. And then you have to be 4 inches away if you want to charge, which she, just double check it, she is. So it's 5, 6, 7 to come into contact. We're going to back him off so we see who's fighting who. And now Rebel is going to throw a strike at, oh, I think I did something wrong here. I did. We need to go back. We're going to do a little edit here. The strike, so you've got, in combat, you've got 4 stats. Strike is to hit. Strength is damage. Dodge is to miss. And toughness is to resist that damage. So we got to do this again. Want to get it right. I warned you it was the first time, right? We're learning together. Shade has a a strike skill of 8 plus 1. How about that? So he rolls 8 dice and he's got the 1 reroll. We'll reroll the 1, and that turns a failure into a success. With all these 6s, he's going to get a lot of hits. I thought that was a little weird that he didn't do so hot. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 successes for Shade. Hammer has got a dodge of 5. 9 successes versus 3 dodges for a total of 6. A differential of 6. That's going to be a problem because for every 2 that you win by, yeah, it doesn't go well. For every 2 that goes, you add 1 die to your strength. So Shade might not be the strongest guy. He's got a total strength of 4, but he does have a weapon, and that gives him a 4 dice. And on top of that, he also beat Hammer by 6 successes, so he gets to add 3 more dice to his power. So we're rolling a total of 11 dice. And and then he's got 1 reroll because he's good at finding those pressure points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes, and then he's got the 1 reroll, which turns a 1 into a 4, for a total of 7 successes. Hammer has got a toughness of 7, so 7 successes versus a toughness of 7 with 1 reroll. Looking to beat a 7 here. Oh, and because Shade charged, he gets extra, so it's going to be 8 altogether. Although I forgot, with the charge, Shade should have rolled 2 extra dice. So that 7, let's go ahead and add those in. The 7 becomes an 8. That's the score that Hammer is looking to beat. And with 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, he manages to do so. 9 is his total. So all that Sturm and Drang, but the dice came up with the same result. It's funny how when you live a clean life, you're protected from your own foolishness. Or maybe, they say the Lord protects fools and drunks. I'm not drunk. What does that tell you? As I was saying, Rebel runs over, and now we got a better idea about how this whole combat thing works. So with Rebel coming over, remember she charged. So Rebel's got a strike of 8 plus with 1 reroll. So here's our 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with 1 reroll, but she gets to roll 2 extra dice for the charge for a total of 10 dice with 1 reroll. She gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. And oh, by the way, she's got a reroll coming, and she does a total of 2, 4, 6 punchies to Shade. Now Shade has to resist with his dodge skill of just 5. So 2, 4, 6 successes versus Shade's 3 successes on the dodge. She beats him by 3. So Rebel beating him by 3. Now she rolls her strength of 5. Oh, she beat him by 3, but remember he gets an extra because of the charge. She beat him by 2, so she only gets to roll 1 extra. Her strength of 5 becomes a strength of 6. Let's see how much damage she does. With a 6. Oh, you know what? Before we roll those, that was probably a pretty good roll. Before we roll those, she's going to use 2 of her luck dice, and then she's going to roll 4 dice. As a result, right, so the 2 luck dice replace 2 of the dice that she wanted to roll. As a result, she gets a total of 6 successes. Shade is a fairly tough individual, so he's going to roll 5 for his dodge. And the 6 successes, she negates 2 of those, which means she does a total of 4 damage to Shade. Shade has a vitality of 8. And that drops down to 4. So that's how combat works. He's got a total of 4 vitality left, and the game is not yet over. In fact, the turn is not yet over. We still have to move. Captain Europa can fly his 7 inches up to here. He's not the fastest guy. And then Soul Sight is gonna, he doesn't need to, let's see, what's the range of his attack? Oh, there's a couple of other things we need to look at here real quick. I forgot about knockback, right? This is a big part of superheroes, is flinging people around. Rebel knocks Shade back. She won by 4, so she rolls 4 dice, and for every success, she knocks him back 1 inch. So he gets bopped back to here, travels in a path directly opposite. I think that's it. Models possessing super strength inflict greater knockback. Each level adds 2 dice to the knockback dice. Yeah, there you go. So you gotta remember that one too. Not a lot of guys have strength. Hammer has a super strength of 1. Dynamique has a super strength of 1. And who else? Captain Europa also has a super strength of 1. So he will roll 2 dice for every point of vitality loss he does to somebody. He has moved. As we said, Soul Sight is now going to try to mind attack Captain Europa. Because he has second sight, he doesn't need a line of sight. That is a 5D ranged attack with a range of well, he could actually move 14 inches. Recognizing, so what I'm going to do is have, well, but he's not charging, so that's it. He is 15 inches away. This mind attack is the way to go. Up to 3 inches, you get 1 extra die. From 3 to 14 inches, and just so you understand, he's about 13 inches away. There's no bonus or penalty to this. The mind attack, the mind ability that Soul Sight has, allows him to make a single strength 5 attack. Now, this is a mind attack. So rather than resisting with his powerful strength and toughness, unfortunately, Captain Europa is going to defend with a strength of 2. So we roll 5 dice. For the mind attack, we get 4 successes. And then we roll 2 for the resistance, or for the dodge, if you will, and we get nothing. Those 4 results mean the strength is going to bump up from 5 to 7, right? We won by 4. So for every 2 points we win by, we add a die. So it's going to be 4 points of damage, if you will, for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. Once again, Captain Europa is going to resist with 2. We got 4 successes, and he negates none of those. That is going to lead to a total of, now there's no knockback here, but Captain Europa's vitality is going to drop from 13 down to 9, so he better get with it. That is it for the alt heroes. Now it's time for Dynamique to go, and she has, let's see, hyper attack, extra attack. She's got a total of 9 AP, so she wants to chart, and she's outside of line of sight, so she's only going to get to move her 9 inches, which will bend her around to about there. And that's the end of the turn. It's just that easy. We've already played through 2 turns. Ain't that great? As with turn number 1, we're going to roll, and old Rebel didn't need to use her 3rd fate die. Now, in addition to the fate dice, she's got 3 times. It's called Edge. Before rolling the dice, she can add 2 dice to that die roll. Or she can add a die afterwards. So if she ties, she can say, you know what, I want to use my Edge. And she adds 1 more die roll, which may be the difference between tying and victory. Be that as it may, we got to roll for our initiative, which is going to be sense. So that's 4 versus 3 with a single reroll that is not necessary. Once again, our alternate heroes get to go. We'll bring Hammer up first. He's going to charge into melee with Shade, and this time he's ready for payback. Hammer is perhaps a glass cannon. Oh, we'll roll the luck dice for Rebel. So she's got a 5 and a 6, and she probably won't want to use the 1. Hammer has a strike of 5, but he charged. So we're going to add one more die. He will be rolling 7 on his 2-hit roll. Counting, I'm just going to move this grass out of the way so we got more room for dice, all right? He gets a total of 3 successes, and then Shade has a dodge of 5. Looking to beat those, wait a minute, except Hammer has his weapon, so he gets 3 more dice. He's got a hammer. Big surprise, the character named Hammer would have that. So he winds up with a total of 7 successes. Shade is going to roll his dodge of 5. He's going to get a total of 3 successes. Difference of 4 means we're going to add 2 to, again, the hammer doesn't help to hit. It only helps with damage. So we wind up with 5 successes on the 2-hit, 3 successes on the dodge. So we got to roll damage of, now these 3 dice come in. It's going to be a damage of 8 plus the 1 for the differential. Hammer swings that big hammer and gets a grand total of 4 successes, which Shade can resist with a total of 6 dice. So 4 successes gets reduced by 4 successes. And oh, by the way, one of those is a reroll. So 4 versus 4. The tie goes to the super toughness of Shade. He is unharmed. And now it's his turn to counterattack. He's going to get to roll his strike of 8 dice with a reroll. Couple of bricks going at it, toe to toe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with a reroll. Total of 7 successes for the Dark Avenger. 7 successes against a toughness of 7 with 2 rerolls. So 7 successes. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. 4 successes for the... Oh, no, sorry. I'm supposed to be rolling dodge here. See, we're learning. We're learning. 7 successes reduced by 2 successes means Shade is going to add 3 dice to his already impressive 9. 3 rolls 12 dice altogether. 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 dice on the damage. There is another little wrinkle I forgot, and we're going to implement it starting now. Shade has just decked Hammer for a total of 12 dice. With 1 reroll even. And he gets, that's a lot of 1s and 2s. He only gets 4 successes. But he does get the 1 reroll. And he turns that into 5 successes. Hammer is a pretty tough cookie. He's going to get to roll 7 dice to resist with 2 rerolls. And he gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which beats the 5, which means he doesn't even need his rerolls. And he takes the shot on his chin, and he just laughs it off. They're still locked in combat, and Dynamique is going to, since he's tied up, she's going to charge over. I'm sorry, Rebel is going to charge over, and we're going to see a little cat fight over here. Rebel versus Dynamique. Now, Rebel charged in. She's got a total strike of 8. But she charged, so she gets 2 additional, and she has, whatchamacallit? The 1 reroll. But I'm going to use one of her special dice. She's going to drop the 6 right away. So the first of her dice is the 6. I'm going to take that one away, and then she rolls these, and she does still get the reroll. So her total strike value is going to be 2, 4, 5, 6 with a single reroll. So she gets a total strike of 6. Dynamique is going to roll her dodge, and her dodge is a 6 with a single reroll. That's pretty good. So she gets a total of 1 on the initial, and then she gets an additional. So she resists with 3. So we negate these 3. We have a difference of 1, and that means Rebel's strength of 5. Oh, you know what, though? When you charge, you get 1 extra. And it doesn't matter because she missed. She still would have, even if she had, well, if she had rolled a 6, the differential would have been 1. That extra die meant no big deal. So Rebel is going to go ahead and on her 5 dice, she's going to use one of her edge dice. It was a 5. She'll roll 4 dice to see what else she gets, and she gets a total of 4 on that strike. Dynamique is going to have a toughness of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to save against 5, she gets 2, 3, 4, 5. Meaning the attack does 1 vitality, knocking her down to 5. She's going to fly back 1 inch. Remember, Rebel has a super strength of 8, so she's going to roll 2 dice. Oh, I'm sorry. With 2 successes, Dynamique falls back 2 inches. Then there's a chance that Dynamique falls down. To avoid falling down, she has to roll either her dodge or her, what's the other one? It's either dodge or toughness. And Dynamique has a dodge of 6 with a single reroll. So she gets 3 successes. Oh, and it's a toughness number of, I want to say 3. Let's go to the book. On a knockback, toughness number of 3 on a strength or dodge roll to stay on your feet. So she is still on her feet. And who has not gone yet? I think Dynamique is the last one to go. Because he moved, he fought, he attacked. Yeah, it's just Dynamique. So Dynamique is going to charge in. And she's going to do what's called a flurry attack. Now, normally this would cost 6 AP. But because she is a speedster, she is going to do it for, she gets basically a free AP. She's going to do it for 4 AP. It's close enough. That hyper attack is going to do 6. Her damage is going to go up from 3 to 6 with a reroll on this because she's doing the hyper attack. But we'll get there. 6 dice, 1 reroll, but she charged, so it's going to be 2 extra dice. 8 dice with a reroll leads to a total of 3 successes for Dynamique's attack. Rebel is going to dodge. Wow, she's a pretty dodgy little gal. Normally it would be 7 dice with a reroll, but because of the extra oomph in the attack, the extra oomph in Dynamique's attack, Rebel is going to have 1 extra die on her dodge skill. I'm trying to use fewer pronouns in this and trying to use more names just because she does gets a little repetitive and hard to follow for those of you that are painting while you listen to this. As you can see, Rebel is going to score a total of 7 defenses against the 3, so Rebel just dodges the attack, and we are done with the turn. We've got 2 groups that are locked in combat, and Captain Europa has a choice now of going after the guy that's mind blasting him or jumping on and trying to put the hammer or Rebel down. Does he want to put the hammer down? I don't know. What I do know we need to do is, maybe it depends on who wins the initiative. His choice might be made for him. As usual, it will be 3 for the Global Justice Initiative. They get 2 successes, and 2 successes for the Alt Hero. It means that Soulforge is going to get to go first, and that's how we're going to do it. He's going to do another Mind Blast at Captain Europa, and that Mind Blast is a straight 5 dice. It's going to be resisted by Captain Europa's 2 mind dice, so yellow versus blue, and we get a total of 3 successes for Soul Sight versus 2 successes for Captain Europa. 1 success means it's going to be a straight roll-off, and with a total of 2 successes on both sides, the tie goes to the Defender. Mine too. Do we have any rerolls on the part of Soulforge? We do not. Now things get complicated for Soul Sight. We're going to break it down into another one-on-one. Captain Europa is within 15 inches, and he can fly. So he is going to charge into combat, and he is... Now Soul Sight is in trouble. Because Captain Europa has a total strike of 5. He might not be the best fighter, but wait till you see what happens if he wins this. And because he charged, we're going to roll the 2 extra dice. We're going to get a total of 5 successes. For his part, Soul Sight only gets 5 dice to defend. He gets a total, that's not too bad. He gets 3 successes on the dodge. Still lost by 2. Still going to have to eat a total strength of 7 with a reroll. But wait, there's going to be an 8th die on that. 2, 4, 6, 8 because of the differential of 2. So 8 dice. Captain Europa just hauls off and smacks it. We get a reroll. So we are sitting on a total of 5, 6, 7 hits. And Soulforge has a total toughness of 4. Trying to dodge 7 hits with 4 dice. He's only going to dodge 2 of them. So he's going to take 5 damage. He is down to 2. And those 5... Then he also has to worry about the fact that he's going to get knocked back a total of... with super strength, it's going to be 10 dice. And that 10 dice has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches, which will blast him off the table. And he has to pass that toughness number of 3, or he winds up falling down. He is falling down. Now, when a figure is knocked off the table, fun things happen. Let me show you where he got blasted. He just got 8 inches. He's about 5 inches away, so it's an extra 3 inches, and he is going to fall down like so. Models that are knocked off the table will, basically they stop at the edge of the table. Soulsight there is going to start the next turn with half of his AP on the ground, cost 2 AP to stand up. He's only got 9 to begin with, so 4.5 rounds up to 5. Drop the 2. He's only going to have 3 AP to start next turn. But we still have a lot more to go. Let's try a maneuver now. The Soulsight is off the table. Oh, this gets interesting because he's not going to get to take a turn this turn at all. Getting knocked off the table is going to cost them all of that as well. When you are engaged in close combat, there are a certain number of maneuvers you can do, and I want to see what happens with the Haymaker. If you have super strength, which Hammer does, you can throw a Haymaker. That's +2 to your strength and +1 knockback, but the defender gains +1 to his dodge because you are telegraphing your attack. So before we get there, Hammer's going to roll his 5 dice. Oh, I forgot to roll the 3 bonus dice for Rebel. Get a 2, 5, and a 6. We'll get to that. Hammer has to roll his strike against Shade. He gets a total of 3 successes. Shade rolls his dodge of 5. Oh, he gets 3 successes. Excuse me. I forgot the 6 is worth multiple. It's worth 2. So there's your 5 for the dodge. He gets 3 successes, and that's going to be a tie, which goes to Hammer because he's got super strength of 1. That super strength of 1 means that he gets through, and he's going to get, because he threw the Haymaker. Oh, because he threw the Haymaker, Shade can dodge with his bonus die, which he does with more successes. Then we'll do Shade next. Shade is going to do, is he going to do the same thing? Yeah, we're going to go all in. He rolls 8 dice with a reroll on his attack. And gets a total of 3 successes. This is a Haymaker. So those 3 successes, we're going to roll 5 dice for Hammer's dodge. And then he gets the 1 bonus die. And look at that, he dodges the attack as well. Which brings us over to the ladies. Dynamique is going to do the same thing she did last time. She's going to do that flurry attack, which gives her a total strike of... Well, she's still got her strike of 6 dice with a reroll versus Rebel's dodge of 7 with a reroll. Well, let's do the 6 first. 2, 4, 6. I'm going to call that a success as well. She gets a total of 8 successes. Rebel is going to roll her dodge of 7. She gets a bonus die because of that Haymaker. So 8 successes. We're going to negate just 2 of those. And oh, wait a second. You know what? We're going to burn 3 of those rerolls. So that's it for her edge, but that's going to be very successful. She goes from 3 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she only loses by 1 which means no extra bonus on that. Well, although it's a haymaker, so Dynamic's total strength of 3 is going to be bumped up to 5 on this one, and she's going to get a total of 3 successes. Rebel's toughness is 7 with 2 rerolls, 3 successes, 4, 5, and no damage there. And this is really turning into a slugfest, which is another superhero game. If you're more comfortable with the D20 system used in games like Rangers of Shadow Deep, you go the same company, what is it called? 4 Color Studios has a superhero using that system. We're done with the turn. Are we done with the turn? No, Rebel gets to get her licks in too. She's got a strength of 2, 4, 6, 8, strike of 8, 1 reroll on Dynamic for a total of 5 successes. She still has 2 wild dice that she can use. She gets a total of 5 successes. I'll show you. There's her 5 successes versus Dynamic's dodge of 6. So 5 successes, 4, 5. Oh, and she has a reroll. So she's got a total of 4. 6, we got 5 on the strike, 4 on the dodge. Means 1 success gets through. Rebel has a strength of 5. And she's going to get, oh, look, she's going to get 2 successes. Well, she's going to start off with 3. You know, this teddy bear, Matt, it's pretty sticky. So we're only going to roll 3 dice. There's her first 2 rolls, and she gets a total of 3 successes versus Dynamic's toughness of 4. And she gets 4 successes for no damage. No, these are supposed to be superheroes. This game is going to take a long time, and I think the game probably shines when you've got something other than just a pure slugfest. When you've got objectives that you have to fulfill. Oh, and somebody probably should have charged into hand-to-hand combat there. I don't know who did. I'm not going to worry about it. Nobody did anything. They're just kind of wailing on each other and not having a whole lot of effect. But the knockback, I think, would make this a little bit more dynamic. Be that as it may, we are back to our initiative roll. And as usual... Oh, no, wait! Let's think about this. The Soul Brother is laying down. Oh, but he's not knocked out. So I guess he could still... Yeah, we're still going to roll it as is. It's going to be 4 versus 3. The good guys get to go first. And good guys. They're all good guys, right? It's all a matter of point of view. Maybe you really like the UN and you think that they're doing a great job. I'm not going to comment on that because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. So does Soul Sight stand up? Yeah, why not? You know, he's got 9 AP, becomes 5. So now he's down to 3, and he can make another mind attack. It's a ranged attack. He rolls his 5 dice. He gets a grand total of 2 successes, which may be enough. Captain Europa's not the smartest. 3 successes, he's good. Captain Europa says, you know what? I'm not too worried about you. I'm going to go... Well, they're not in line of sight anymore, are they? Yeah, he's going to go finish him off. Captain Europa flies over. Charges. Actually, he doesn't have to fly. He's just going to charge. That gives him a total strike of 7 against the Brainiac, and he gets 1 success. Really? All right, well, let's see what the Brainiac has for his dodge. He has a total dodge of 5. Pretty good matchup, and he manages to avoid it all. Look at that. In fact, he gets 1 more. So 5. Yeah, look at that. 5 versus 1. If he lands that punch, Soul Sight is going down. Who gets to attack first? Let's do Rebel first. She's striking with a grand total of 8, and she's going to go ahead and throw that haymaker. She wants the extra damage. 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 successes, and she's got a reroll for a total of 10 successes. Ooh, this does not look good for Dynamic. 10 successes versus a dodge of 6. Well, at least she's got the reroll. So 10 successes. She's going to get the reroll in, and she's going to negate a total of 3 of those. So it's going to be 4 extra dice Wait, she gets one more. She negates 3. She only negates 3. That one more was because Rebel's throwing the haymaker. Rebel's strength goes up to 7 dice on this attack. She gets a grand total of 4 successes. Oh, she has her wild dice she could use too. Yeah, she wanted to use 2 of those. So her 5, she won by 7. She gets 3 extra dice. So she will get, there's, the 5 becomes 8. There's the 2 she chose. And then she gets it to, that was actually worse 4, wasn't it? 4. Fortunately, Dynamique only has a toughness of 4. And she's only going to block 1 of those. So she loses 3 more hit points. She's down to just 2. And she has to fly back 1, 2, 3 inches. And she's got to pass her dodge of, what does she want to use? Dodge of 6. Yeah, the 6. She needs to beat a toughness of 3. 1, 2, 3. She does. So she's still on her feet. And she's going to be able to charge into combat now. So maybe that knockback wasn't so great for Rebel. She has a total strength of 6. Plus the 2 for the charge. And she has 1 reroll. For a total of 2 hits. Dynamique has her dodge of 7. Plus the extra for the charge, plus her reroll. She gets a total of 2, 4, 6, 7 dodges, and nothing happens. And man, this game has taken a long time to accomplish not a lot. A hammer is going to go, I don't think hammer is even, no, Shade is hurting. Dynamique is hurting. And Soul Forge is hurting. So we are actually having some effect here. This is going to be a straight 5 versus 5. Hammer is attacking Shade. Hammer gets 4 successes. Shade has a dodge of 5. He only saves 1 of those. So Hammer is going to do his damage of 5, 8. But because he won by 3, he gets to add 1 more to that. So it's going to be 9 on the damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the damage roll. And he's going to get a total of... Does he have any rerolls on that strength? Yeah, he's got 1 reroll. Doesn't matter. He's going to get 2, 4, 6, 7 damage. And Shade has a toughness of 6. So the 7 versus a toughness of 6 with 1 reroll. That's going to save 3 damage, which takes Shade down to 1. And he's maybe going to fall over. He has to roll his dodge. Oh, he got his 3 successes, so he does stay on his feet. He moves back, and here's where it gets even more fun and even more static. He only moves back until he hits that. He moves back like a half an inch. He's got his back to the wall. He's going to stop at the Jersey barrier, and he's going to be done. And that, which is great for him because it means he gets to counterattack with his strike of 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. The yellow dice are going to be Shade. And Hammer is dodging with 5. He's dodging with the yellow. So the yellow dice get 2 successes versus 1 dodge. So Shade does hit for a total of 4, 8 dice. So that's going to be the yellow. But Hammer's a pretty tough cookie. We're going to roll 7 dice. So the 8 on the attack. And none of those are rerolled. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the dodge, it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 7. So again, no damage. Is it just the dice rolling that I'm doing here, guys? That it doesn't seem like a lot is going on? It feels like every time we get a big punch, we get a big dodge. And every time we get a little punch, we get a little dodge. Moving on to the next turn, Soul Sight is back on his feet, and he's going to roll to see. He gets 3 successes, so no surprises there. And he's got to... I want to try to put... we're going to try to put Dynamique down here. Rebel just hauls off and does her 8 dice with a single reroll. Oh, I got to roll her special dice. And she's going to accept 1 of those. So she's going to get at least 1 success. She's going to roll her 7. And she's going to get a total of 4 successes. Dynamique has it. Maybe it's the matchup that's tripping me up here. maybe they just match up against each other really well, because Dynamique is going to make a big roll. So there's our successes for that. Dynamique is going to roll a total of 6 dodge. So Dynamique dodges that, and then she's going to do her counterpunch. And yeah, I think that's probably what it is, that we've got a really good puncher against a really good dodger. And likewise, we've got a really good, a weak, what's the deal? So Dynamique, Rebel is better at striking, and she's better at dodging. Man, Rebel should have this. She should have this, but she doesn't. Dynamique is going to make her attack, and she's just going to do her straight attack at 2, 4, 6. With a single reroll, she's going to get 5 successes. Rebel is going to roll a total of 7 for her dodge. Looking to beat 5. She's going to get 2, 4, 5. With 1 reroll, which fails. Ties, they both have 1 reroll. They're both super. Ties go to the defender. That means nothing happens again. Wow, big surprise there. Hammer's going to get to go. He is going to roll his strike of 5. That'll be the white dice. I can kind of spin it over here. You can see a little better. He's going to get a total of 3 successes against Shade's dodge of 5. So 3 successes, 3 negate. There's no ties go to the defender. Nothing happens, which means Shade is going to punch back, and Shade is going to strike. I'm just going to play to the first one down, because this is getting a bit silly at this point. We're like 45 minutes into this, and we've had like 3 successful attacks. I don't even know if I'm going to revisit this one. I'm having such a miserable time. And that's not, I mean, you guys see how the game plays. My inability to get this right is no knock on the game itself. I like the guys that do this. The game works great for science fiction. Hey, 3 successes on that strike with a reroll. Hey, 3 successes still. Hammer's got a dodge of 5. 3 successes. And oh, look, we negated all 3 with the 6 and the 5, so nothing happened again. Oh, I'm stunned. Stunned by that. Soul Sight is going to go ahead and do a brain attack on the big guy, and he's going to roll 6 successes against the big guy's mind of 2. He gets no successes, so that's going to be a total of, we're going to have to roll, we beat by 3, so this time it's going to be defending on 2 is Captain Europa. We're going to get 6 extra dice, so it's going to be 8 versus 2. And Captain Europa, we negate those. It does a total of 2 points of damage, of brain damage. Europa goes down to 7. Yeah, it's just the 4s. Okay. So then we move on to the next turn. We'll roll for the super dice. Rebel has a 5 and a 6 she can throw in. And we have to roll for initiative. Now let's see if the Global Justice Initiative can pull one out here. With a total of 1 success versus 2, they can't. All right, boys. Soul Sight's going to make his attack first. Now, I'm gonna do Hammer first, because this is an easy one. We're going to do our Thumpy boys here in the center. It's going to be 5 on 5. The yellow is Blondie. The Hammer throws down, and he gets 2 successes versus 3, so nothing there. Shade is going to roll his 8 dice versus Hammer's 5 dodge. Remember, the yellow dice have 1 reroll because he's a super striker. So these negate, and these negate, and we wind up with a total of 4. 4 extra successes on the attack. So that'll negate to 2 bonus dice on the damage. Shade will get to do 8 dice on the damage, plus the 2 bonus dice. Maybe he can do some damage to the Hammer's Vitality. 2, 4, 6, 8. So 10 altogether. Remember, Hammer has Vitality of 13. But at least we got a good roll out of that. It's going to be 6 altogether. Hammer is going to resist with his toughness of 7 and 2 rerolls. He's looking to beat 6, and he does it on the first roll. So again, no damage over there. Maybe we need to play with a full 5-on-5, a full complement. Maybe we need better supporting here. The boys have gone. We got to do the ladies, and let's see. We did Soul Sight, we did Hammer, and we did Shade, which means it's going to be the Global Justice Initiative. And if Captain Europa can get a solid roll here, it's going to be a 5-on-5, Europa versus Soul Sight. Europa is going to roll 3 successes. Soul Sight's going to roll 1. That means we've got 2 successes on the damage. And all right, this might put Soul Sight down for good. He's going to hit with Europa hits with a total of 7 dice, but he gets 2 bonus dice for that big win. He's going to do a total of 3, 4, 5 damage. He also has 1 reroll. So 5 becomes 5. And with a toughness of 4, resisting against the 5, we get a total of 4 differential. And Soulforge is down to 1. And he has to pass his dodge of 5, toughness number 3. 1, 2, 3. He does not fall down, but he is knocked off the table. So I'll move him off to the side a little bit there. When he wants to come in on the next turn, it's going to be a problem for him. He is down to 1 hit point. And then it's going to be Dynamique gets to go with her strike of 6. She gets 3 successes with 1 reroll. And Rebel will go ahead and use her 2 dice to get 3 successes. Her dodge is going to be 5 with a reroll. And oh look, she successfully dodged. All she needed was 1. And then we're done with the turn. And we'll roll for the initiative again. Man, I just wish there was more motion. How about that? 4 successes versus 3 successes means the Global Justice Initiative gets to go first for once. And Captain Europa is going to haul off and deck the Brainiac. We'll roll for Rebel here in just a second. 5-on-5. Europa's in yellow, and he fails. Okay, it's 2 successes versus 4. You know, when he lands a punch, he does some crazy damage. The Soulforge is going to return with his mind attack. It's going to be 5 dice versus 2 dice. He gets a total of 2 successes. So now rolling for Blamage. 5 versus 2 with a bonus die. It's going to be 6 versus 2. And he does a total of, well, that negates. So we're going to do a total of 5 brain damage to Captain Europa. He's down to 2. And, I guess Soul Sight stood up and just... Oh, that's a good point. Captain Europa had to wait. Because, if you recall, he knocked Soul Sight off the table. We should have done somebody else first. But that's how that little mano-a-mano is going to go. We are down into just like 3 mano-a-mano situations. And this time around, though, Shade is going to get to go first, smacking Hammer around. He's going to roll his 8 dice. 5, 6, 7, 8. No modifiers. He's got 1 reroll, and he finally gets a big win with 4, 6, 8 successes. Hammer is going to dodge with just 5 dice. So 8 successes, reduced down to 5, means 2 bonus wound dice. 2, 4, 6, 8 for the standard. 2 bonus wounds. Rolling 10 altogether. And we'll see if that does him any good. We'll call that a 5. That's a total of 4 damage. Hammer is a pretty tough guy. He's got a total of 7 with a reroll. Looking to beat 5. And he gets it on the initial roll. 2, 4, 6, 8. So no damage once again. Now the game does have rules for throwing cars and stuff, but I'm not dealing with any of that today. Maybe that would make the game more interesting, except that they're all just punching each other in the neck. Hammer's going to strike with his 5. He's going to get a total of 3 hits. And Shade is going to dodge with 5. And he gets a total of 6 successes, so nothing happens there. I just want one of these guys to go down. This is getting painful at this point. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be doing a whole lot of Super System. Maybe I should have given Slugfest a closer look. All right, well, moving on. Dynamic is going to be, she's got 6 on her strike against Rebel. She's going to get 3 successes. Rebel has a dodge of 7, looking to get 3 successes. And she got them. What a surprise. What a surprise. Okay, and then we go with Rebel is going to strike with her big 8 and a reroll, and she's going to get a total of 2, 4, 6, 7, and then she gets a reroll. So it's just 7 successes. And Dynamic is going to dodge with 6 dice and a reroll. So 7 reduced by 5 and 6. So it's just going to be a straight damage roll. Rebel is not the toughest, but she is able to do 7 points of damage against Dynamic's 4 toughness. 7 points is reduced down by 2, so she takes 5. And that means Dynamic is KO'd. When you get knocked down, this is what I've been waiting for. That's going to do 5 inches of knockback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then she has to make a toughness number of 4. By she, I mean Dynamic, of course. She's the one that was knocked on her shapely backside. Make a toughness number 4 resolve check. Dynamic has a resolve of 3. She's got to get 4 successes. She only got 1. That means she goes face down. Unless it possesses super toughness or regeneration. If somebody can help her, does she have super toughness? Dynamic? She does not, so she's effectively out of the battle. Okay? If she had made this check, then she would be on her feet, and 1 more point of damage would absolutely take her out of the battle. All right, with the 1 member down and Europa down to just 2 points, and Shade only has 1 hit point left as well, we're going to call this a narrow victory for the Alt Hero crew. But mostly we're going to call it a minor victory for the channel. We tried a superhero game, and I'm just not crazy about this game. We may do a proper review now that we've tried it out. I think the goal system is a good system. I think it's robust and it can handle a lot of different genres, but you have to be a lot more careful with it when designing scenarios, particularly when you're playing a game that is really heavy on the melee. I suspect, now maybe, and like I said throughout the course of the video, I might not be doing this right, but I suspect that a lot of these games are going to bog down into just a pure 2 guys punching each other. And there'll be a little bit of pushing each other back and forth until you get into a situation like Shade and Hammer here, where, I mean, if they had been aligned a little bit like this, then the knockback wouldn't even matter at all, because they would still be just kind of, 1 inch away or 1 inch away. Not that big a deal. I will say this. SuperSystem has a lot of potential with a lot of different wonky superpowers. You saw how thick this book is. It's a good-looking book. I'm not going to, offer a recommendation or not, but there's a lot of room for experimentation in here. But every single one of those superpowers is going to be another case of flipping through the book and more stuff to have to remember, and I'm just not interested in that at this juncture, particularly when it comes to a genre that I'm not a huge fan of. I'll say this. If you have a desire for a couple of minutes entertainment a day, make sure you swing by arcaven.com. Check out some of the titles they've got. They have a lot of artwork done by Brazilian and South American artists. There's a number of different titles written by Chuck Dixon. Everything from conspiracy to dystopian fiction, and even some, what would you call it? They have a Bible stories title that is worth a look. Go to arcaven.com, give it a shot. I think you'll be entertained. I'm probably a little more entertained than watching me just go, it's your turn, 8 dice, nothing happens. Your turn, 8 dice, nothing happens. Your turn, 8 dice, nothing happens. But hey, I'm not bitter. I'm having too much fun to be bitter. And even if this game itself was a failure, I consider it's one step closer to success. I'll look around. If you guys have any recommendations for a good superhero game that's not built upon the mouse or some kind of corporate IEP, because they have enough money. They don't need my free advertising. Good independent outfits like Flying Sparks. That's who needs a little bit more conversation. But you know what you guys need? I think you guys need a little boost. Whatever it is you're doing in life, you're doing great. Keep it up. I'm a big fan of yours. So much so, I'm praying for you.